1. The 1-week heatwave. Every year in Britain, we endure 8 straight months of drizzle, darkness, and debating whether it's too early to put the heating on. And then suddenly, with zero warning, it arrives. The heatwave, a glorious, chaotic, slightly apocalyptic 7-day stretch where the nation collectively loses its mind. This isn't just weather, it's a personality shift. People you've never seen outside are suddenly sunbathing in their front gardens like they've been preparing for this moment since January. Shirts come off, shorts appear. Someone sets up a paddling pool in a parking space. Britain transforms from grey and humble to sunburnt and unhinged in under 48 hours. Let's be clear, we're not built for this. British homes are designed to trap heat, like sadistic little ovens. No one has air conditioning. The best we can manage is a tiny F12 fan from Argos that makes more noise than breeze and just blows warm air around while you stare at the ceiling, praying for death. Every room becomes a sauna. You're sweating in places you didn't know had pores. You try to sleep with the window open, but instead you're serenaded by drunk neighbors, shouting about Deliveroo orders, and foxes having deeply traumatic-sounding love affairs. Public transport? That's not a train carriage. That's a mobile microwave with no airflow, and 3 people who clearly don't believe in deodorant. The windows don't open. The seats are made of a mysterious fabric designed to absorb and reflect heat simultaneously. It's hell with a rail card. And what do we do during this rare burst of sun? We overcompensate. Hard. We throw BBQs like it's the last meal before civilization ends. We lie on the grass in parks next to strangers like we're at a budget music festival. We act like we're Mediterranean sunglasses, Prosecco, loud declarations like, "I could get used to this." You couldn't. You say that every year. You won't. Then comes the tan line chaos. The classic British look, red shoulders, white feet, and one forearm darker than the rest of your body because you drove with the window down once. But deep down, we know it won't last. 7 days, max. Then the clouds return, the rain comes back with a vengeance, and you realize you left your only fan in the loft and now it smells like damp toast. Still for that 1 week a year? Britain becomes delusionally tropical, and we wouldn't have it any other way. 2. Pointless garden furniture. Nothing screams, summer has arrived in Britain, like dragging mouldy plastic chairs out of the shed and pretending they don't smell like regret and spiders. Yes, it's time to talk about that sacred, weather-beaten, mostly decorative tradition we all commit to. Garden furniture, used once a year, treated like fine art. Now, let's be honest, most of us bought our garden sets during a brief moment of pandemic delusion. You remember, we'll use it all the time, we'll have people round every weekend. You used it once, and then it rained, for 14 consecutive weeks. British garden furniture spends 362 days under a tarp, usually weighed down by bricks, old BBQ covers, or whatever you found in the garage that vaguely resembles a weight. Then comes the heatwave and it's suddenly, right, get the table out, like it's been waiting in cryogenic suspension. And when we do set it up, it's always a performance. We pretend this rusty, half-collapsed IKEA patio set is the height of al fresco dining. Someone wipes it down with one damp kitchen roll. Someone else tries to light the BBQ with a lighter from 2007, and your uncle sits in a fold-out camping chair that's one wrong movement away from total collapse. The chairs? Wobbly, faded. One of them has a cracked leg, but no one mentions it until someone's had a cider and ends up horizontal mid-burger. The cushions, if you have any, are either rock hard, damp, or have been bleached into oblivion by last year's heatwave that lasted 11 minutes. Also, no one ever has enough chairs. There's always one person sat on a broken flower pot or the recycling bin with a dish towel for padding. British hosting, ladies and gentlemen. And every year, someone insists on eating outside, even though it's 17 degrees, cloudy, and a gust of wind just blew half your salad onto the patio. Let's make the most of it. Yeah, let's watch lettuce become airborne and pretend it's charming. Then come the flies, wasps, rogue bees, and that one local cat who just appears, stares into your soul mid-sausage, and vanishes. But we put up with it. Why? Because this is our moment, our annual outdoor optimism event, where we cook outside, eat off our laps, and cling to the idea that maybe, just maybe, this summer will be different. It won't. But the garden chairs are already out, and now you've got grass stains on your shorts, so we commit. 3. British beach days. There's nothing quite like a British beach day. It's the one time of year where the nation collectively lies to itself and says, it's just like being in Spain. It's not. It's 10 degrees colder, your sandwich has sand in it, and there's a child crying because their Mr. Whippy got snatched by a seagull. Welcome to the great British seaside where optimism goes to get windburn. Let's start with the beach itself. In most countries, the beach is soft, golden, Instagram friendly. In Britain, you're lucky if it's sand. More likely it's pebbles sharp enough to perform surgery, or packed wet sand that smells vaguely of seaweed and broken dreams. But that doesn't stop us. No, we arrive early, lugging 14 bags full of towels, windbreakers, disposable BBQs, and an umbrella we'll never use. And somehow, it takes 3 full adults and a degree in engineering to set up one tent that immediately collapses the moment someone sneezes. And then there's the sea. It's never warm, not even in July. It's not refreshing, it's traumatic. You dip your toe in and suddenly lose feeling in your entire lower body. But someone, usually your dad, insists on going fully in. It's fine once you're in. That's not encouragement, it's a hostage statement. Meanwhile, back on dry land, you're eating a ham sandwich that's 30% sand and 70% cling film, while trying to ignore the fact that your knees are blue and there's a wasp hovering over your Capri Sun like it owns the place. Oh, and don't forget the windbreaker. A uniquely British invention, a flimsy, half-hearted fence against the full wrath of coastal wind. Every British family sets one up like it's claiming territory. This stretch of pebble and broken shell, ours now. We try so hard to make it look fun. Kids building castles that immediately collapse. Mums applying sun cream like they're frosting a toddler. Dads in cargo shorts barbecuing sausages that are raw in the middle and charred on the outside. It's chaos. But it's our chaos. And when the clouds roll, in which they always do, we pack everything up, still damp, still covered in sand, and head to a chippy or an arcade to spend £14 trying to win a plush minion the size of a suitcase. British beach days aren't relaxing. They're a full-body test of endurance, willpower, and misplaced patriotism. But we'll do it again next weekend, because nothing says summer like pretending you're warm while physically shivering. 4. Sudden rain, storm. You haven't truly experienced a British summer until you've sprinted into the garden mid-downpour, shouting, "Get the cushions!" This is not a drill. This is sudden rain, the most powerful force in the UK after passive aggression and Love Island. Now look, we all know British weather doesn't play by the rules. The sun can be out, sky clear, birds chirping, and then boom, grey clouds, wind, horizontal rain, like God just hit, British preset. No warning. The weather app said 0% chance. The forecast was sunny spells. Yeah, well now you're outside in socks, wrestling a wet parasol that's taken flight like a Poundland parachute, while your dog watches from the window, judging you. This isn't just about staying dry, this is a mission to save the garden furniture. The same garden furniture we hyped up 2 sections ago? Yeah, well now it's being slowly ruined by rainwater while you yell things like, "Grab the chair covers! Where's the tarp? Is the barbecue still plugged in?" You know what happens every year. We have one decent sunny afternoon and suddenly we get cocky. Cushions out, umbrella up. Drinks on the table, the full outdoor fantasy, and then as if summoned by your confidence, it starts raining exactly 3 minutes after you put the food out. And it's never just light rain. It's biblical, torrential, should we build an ark type of rain. The kind that soaks you through in 10 seconds and turns your lawn into a slip hazard. You're slipping on grass, holding a soggy garden chair over your head like it's a shield, while someone else tries to roll up a soaking picnic blanket that now weighs more than a small child. It's a scene of pure, wet, domestic chaos. And here's the worst part we don't learn. Next week, exact same scenario. Sun comes out, we get brave, out come the cushions, the speaker, the crisps in a bowl. We say, let's just risk it, it looks alright. It never is. You've said that phrase 17 times and been betrayed every single one. But this is British summer, part hope, part panic, and entirely dependent on whether someone remembered to cover the furniture this time. Spoiler, they didn't. 5. Sunburn, tan lines, SPF denial crisis. Here's a uniquely British talent, spending 9 months complaining about grey skies, and then refusing sunscreen the moment the sun shows up like it's some sort of personal test of strength. Welcome to the SPF denial crisis. We don't wear it. We don't trust it. We think after 3 days of build-up our pasty, vitamin-deficient skin has developed some kind of natural barrier, when in reality, you're going to burn badly, and we never learn. Every summer, like clockwork, thousands of Brits become human traffic lights, red from the shoulders up, pale from the t-shirt down, and somehow still insisting, it's fine, it'll go brown tomorrow. It won't. It's going to peel like a wet poster. Now let's talk tan lines. They're not subtle, they're not aesthetic, they are violent contrast between clothing coverage and misplaced confidence. Bright, red neck, white upper arms, a perfect outline of your flip-flops that looks like you've been dipped in Tipex. And don't even mention the sunglasses tan. You take them off, and it looks like you've been skiing. In Marbella, the real danger? The blokes. British men have a genetic aversion to SPF. I don't burn. You do. You just don't feel it yet because you've numbed your nerve endings with lager and sunstroke. Then there's always that one person at the BBQ who did bring factor 50, applies it every 10 minutes, and gets shamed for it like they've committed treason. Ooh, look at you being sensible. Yeah, sensible and not currently radiating heat like a toaster. Of course, once the burn sets in, it becomes a source of weird national pride. Look at that, mate. That's proper colour, that is. No, Gary, that's second-degree skin damage. Your forehead's actually pulsing. And what's the post-burn treatment? Aloe vera from the fridge and lying in a dark room, shirtless, limbs spread, covered in aftersun and poor decisions. But still, we'll do it all again next summer. We'll ignore every warning, buy the SPF, leave it in the bag, and return from a mildly sunny weekend looking like we lost a fight with the sun itself. Because nothing is more British than suffering for 20 minutes of vitamin D and calling it a holiday. 6. The pub garden takeover. Ah yes, the pub garden. Britain's answer to, what if we drank outside but made it slightly more stressful than indoors? It's where the nation gathers the second the sun appears, to sweat on wooden benches and pretend lukewarm cider counts as hydration. Let's set the scene. It's 3:17 p.m. on a Saturday. The weather is technically nice. 19 degrees, bit of breeze, occasional cloud that everyone panics over. You and your mates head to the pub thinking it'll be a chill one. Big mistake. The garden is a war zone. Every table is taken. People are standing in clusters like feral meerkats, hovering near tables, pretending they're just chatting, while secretly eyeing up who's about to leave. It's first come, first claimed. No reservations, no mercy. You see someone stand up to go inside, and 15 people descend like hyenas, casually edging closer, pint in hand, pretending they're not watching that chair like it's the last lifeboat on the Titanic. And when you finally do get a table, it's one of those unstable benches that wobbles if anyone breathes too hard. There's one chair missing, and someone ends up sitting on an empty beer keg like it's totally normal. Also, you're in full sun, directly next to the industrial bin, but no one dares complain, because at least you're sitting. Then there's the drinks. You queue for 20 minutes inside just to come back with 4 pints and 1 flat Pepsi, all sweating faster than you are. Someone inevitably drops a glass. People clap. The bar staff pretend not to cry. Food? Forget it. Kitchen's backed up. Chips are a 40-minute wait, and the one guy who ordered wings is now guarding them like a dragon hoarding treasure. Also, the wasps. So many wasps. Hovering, plotting, dive-bombing your pint like they paid for it. You try to ignore them until one gets inside your sleeve and suddenly you're full flailing in front of strangers, swatting yourself like you're being exercised. But despite all this, we love it. We sit there for hours. Sunburn spreading, phones overheating, everyone shouting over the wind like it's Glastonbury for accountants. Because, when the sun's out, the pub garden becomes the heart of Britain. It's loud, it's crowded, it's mildly dangerous, and it's perfect. 7. Summer events. There's nothing more British than spending your weekend in a damp field, holding a 6 hot dog, pretending you're having the time of your life while a Bee Gees tribute band warms up on stage. Yes, it's British summer event season. The land of village fetes, pop-up festivals, and travelling carnivals that always feel slightly cursed. Let's start with the local fete, usually hosted on a school field or a bit of grass behind the library. You've got a tombola table run by someone called Sandra, homemade jams for sale in jars that look suspiciously unlabeled, and a raffle where the top prize is a meat hamper from Dave's Butchers, which has somehow been sitting out in direct sun since 10 a.m. Meanwhile, kids are screaming on a bouncy castle, someone's playing an out-of-tune clarinet solo, and the PA system cuts out every time they try to announce the winner of Best Sponge Cake. Pure chaos. 10-10. Would attend again. Then we upgrade to the British Summer Festival. Not Glastonbury, no. We're talking your town's local beer and bands in the park event. Tickets cost £14. You bring your own camping chair, and there's always a headline act that's either a 1980s pop band with 0 original members left, or a tribute act with a name like Wrong Direction, or Almost ABBA. You queue for drinks in a tent that smells like regret, buy a pint in a flimsy paper cup for 5.5 and immediately spill it down your leg because the grass is uneven and you sat too forcefully. The food options are burger van or chips van. Both serve the exact same thing. One of them claims it's vegan. It's not. Then there's the travelling carnival that sets up overnight in the Tesco car park. You walk past and think, was that Ferris wheel there yesterday? Rides that looked like they were last serviced during the Blair government. People screaming not from fun, just fear and loose bolts, and a suspicious amount of electrical tape. But here's the thing, we still go, because it's tradition, because it's outdoors, and because deep down, we love a bit of budget chaos with our sunburn and sausage rolls. British summer events are never perfect. They're messy, underfunded, and usually involve a dog show that's ruined by one badly behaved spaniel. But for those few glorious hours, we believe. In music, in ice cream vans, in beanbag races, and most importantly, in winning a bottle of Lambrini in the raffle. 8. Great British Staycation Delusion. Every year, without fail, millions of Brits look at holiday prices, scoff at airport chaos, and boldly declare, you know what? Let's just do a staycation. A noble sentiment, a terrible decision, because here's what a British staycation promises: long walks, fresh air, and switching off. What it actually delivers: cold toes, broken Wi-Fi, and 4 people silently eating overcooked pasta in a damp caravan. Let's start with the accommodation. You scroll past the overpriced Airbnbs and land on something described as cozy, which in British holiday lingo means claustrophobic with wood paneling. Usually a caravan, converted barn, or an eco-pod that's just a glorified shed with fairy lights. You arrive, optimistic, open the door, instantly greeted by the unmistakable smell of wet dog, air freshener, and mild regret. Then it's time for activities. You plan scenic hikes and pub lunches. What you get is non-stop drizzle, closed footpaths, and one pub that only serves food between 0 and 3. So instead, you walk to the nearest National Trust site, only to find it's partially closed due to conservation works, and the only open bit is a gift shop selling jam and £18 coasters. The weather, predictably unhinged. Rain, then sun, then horizontal rain. You try to eat outside anyway, the salad blows away. Your partner insists it's still warm if you stay in the sun, even though you're visibly shivering and the dog has given up. Then there's the local beach. Beautiful in theory, but it's 13 degrees, the tide's out, and your kids are crying because their socks are wet and someone just trod on a jellyfish. And cooking? Good luck. You're in a kitchen the size of a shoebox, boiling pasta on a hob with 2 settings, off and inferno. You forgot olive oil. You forgot salt. Dinner is now plain spaghetti and a packet of hula hoops. But here's the twist. By the end of it, you'll still pretend it was brilliant. Oh, it was lovely, really nice to get away. Was it? You didn't sleep, you're sunburnt and damp, and you spent £600 to sit inside a tiny house and play Uno during a thunderstorm. But that's the magic of the Great British Staycation. It's uncomfortable, underwhelming, and somehow we'll book the same place next year. Because we're British. And this is what counts as a holiday. And there it is, the Great British Summer, a yearly cycle of false hope, heat stroke, wasps, and arguing over whether 17 degrees counts as proper warm. We had it all. Garden chairs that haven't moved since 2004, seagull warfare, public sunburn, and BBQs ruined by weather and undercooked sausages. It's unpredictable, it's chaotic, and we wouldn't change a single soggy second. So, if you've ever had to rescue garden cushions mid-hailstorm or used aftersun like a life-saving ointment, give this video a like, subscribe, and smash the bell like you're swatting away your 10th wasp of the afternoon, and tell me in the comments. What's your most traumatically British summer moment? Worst sunburn? Best staycation? Weirdest thing you've seen at a village fete? No judgment, just shared pain. Cheers for watching. Now go hydrate, or at least find some shade. You're looking a bit crispy.